So let me clear this up right from the start. If I could, I wouldn't be living here in Pattaya. It's not the nightlife, and it's certainly not the dream people sell. Or try to sell. I'm here because leaving would screw somebody else's life, not mine. And the honest truth, my girlfriend came here for me. So now I'm staying for her.
For joining us.
You got walls and a roof. Well,
just to paint the picture, I never came here chasing some fantasy of paradise or an easy life. No, I got the kind of news that would stop you dead in your tracks. A cancer diagnosis. Yep, a bit of an inconvenience, one would say. And when that happens, you don't think about the usual stuff. You know, you tend to think about the time you've got left. You think about where you want to be. For me, it was clear. I needed a reset. I needed somewhere to get some headspace and get my head around what I've been told. I needed a break from the endless grind and the noise of life. As I say, somewhere to breathe and figure things out. That was my motivation at the time. So I guess the next question is, why Pattaya? Well, the honest truth is I knew a couple of people here, so it made a bit of sense. On top of that, I've been here a few times, so I kind of know the lay of the land. And I think knowing at least a couple of people, it helps you assimilate a little bit better, rather than just being sort of lonely old Joe. And when I say I knew a couple of people here, I guess the truth is I thought I knew a couple of people here. The truth is they turned out to be something quite different. So what I'm saying is Pattaya wasn't just a shot in the dark. No. It felt like a place, you could disappear without actually disappearing completely. But, well, as you know, life has a way of biting back. As I mentioned just previously, those people, not exactly solid, not exactly friends. I would say more like shadows. Here when convenient, gone when not. Then, of course, there was the bar. I mean, I never planned on owning a bar. It wasn't my fantasy, nor my dream. And it certainly wasn't a savvy business move. I mean, I think that's already explained very clearly in a previous video. I think it was more like a bad accident. Circumstances piled up, and then suddenly I had my name on some paperwork. And for a place I didn't even want. But they ended up running. Go figure. Yes, naive, I know, I can hear you. I hear well, don't worry. And I agree. But I don't think my mind was as clear as perhaps I would have liked it to have been at the time. I mean, you can imagine a situation in your own life where you're in a place where you don't really want to be, but somehow you just end up being there. I would say that was my story with the bar. It's like trying to run something that really isn't yours, even though you think it is. Dealing with people who don't have your back, no one's looking out for you, but you think they are. And to be honest, it just turned out to be a nightmare that ultimately dragged me under. And it wasn't just about the money. For me, it was more about the broken trust. I think that means a lot more to me than money. Money you will lose and money you can make back. But trust, you can't get that back. Relationships turned sour. And it left me drained, mentally. Yes, I was financially hit, as you know from a previous video, but I think the mental impact was much greater for me. So I'm going to tell you right now what Pattaya, or Pattaya, however you pronounce it, how it really is. It's put simply, it's a playground for grown-ups. A kind of fantasy land wrapped in neon and desperation. And most foreigners here, frankly, they're running. They're running from something. Or maybe just running from themselves. You see them all over. Some are trying to rewrite their lives after failed marriages, failed relationships, failed businesses. And others, they just want to forget the last chapter. Simple as that. So they come here. And the locals, you ask? Well, they've figured the game out. Trust me. Smile at you, flatter you, and take what you've got. You're not a friend or a lover. That's just a dream. You're a cash machine with a visa stamp, and I'm sorry if that offends, but the truth must be told. This is what this place is. This is not Thailand. I'm not angry about this place. I'm certainly not bitter about it. I guess I just see it for what it really is, and actually that's quite refreshing. And ultimately, that's why I just stopped pretending. My eyes were open. I see the reality, and it's refreshing. So having said all that, you ask, well, why are you still there? And that's it's a fair question. I've always believed in the premise of put your money where your mouth is. If you don't like something, get yourself out of the situation. And I still stand by that. But there are certain circumstances by which you can't do that, even if you want to. So the simple reason, why am I still here? The answer is simply my girlfriend. She's not from Pattaya. She's not a bar girl. She doesn't work in the industry. The reality is when the bar was struggling and we were trying to get money and we were trying to encourage people to come and work for us, she left her job in marketing to come and to help me to try and make our bar succeed. Now, bearing in mind at that time, we didn't know the treachery that was brewing underneath or behind the scenes. But she came and she gave up a lot to come and help me and support me. And, you know, not just the bar. She was supportive of me as well. You know, my mental side of things, she was a great support to me. I mean, she could have walked away. Of course she could have. She could have said, this isn't my fight. But she didn't. She came here for me. And since then, she's built up a little business of her own. Something real and something that matters. So if I walked away now, I wouldn't just be leaving Pattaya behind. You know, I'd be tearing down something she's worked really hard to achieve. And frankly, she deserves better than that. If she ever did decide to leave, I'd willingly go. No questions asked. I think we both see the reality of where we live. However, her business is not related to the playground scene here. It's more of a serious business. And the thing about her business is she has to be here to do it. Whereas for me, teaching English, I can be anywhere. I'm a lot more flexible now than I perhaps was before. So for now, this is where we are. And this is where we stay. We have made a move, just in case you wanted to know. We've moved from the more, shall we say, noisy part of the world to a quieter area. Still in Pattaya, but away from the maddening crowd, as they say. So do I hate Pattaya? No, I don't hate Pattaya. I just see it for what it really is. And the minute you see something for what it is, you can accept it a lot easier. I don't pretend it's some paradise. I just don't play the game. I just live here now on my own terms. If you've ever stayed somewhere, not because you love it, but because someone else needed you to be there to support them, then subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. You know, we'll be talking some real things, real life. So to end today, thanks to all the new subscribers. This is Broke, for sure, and Bold, where the illusions end and the truth begins.